Hi, y'all. So, today's topic, and I feel very deeply about this today. I don't know if you can't tell, but today's topic is about influences. And influence is such a spectrum because it's like this invisible force that really just dives into your psyche, and it's really like everywhere at all times. And it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm sure you get what I mean. Your influences shape who you are. Your influences shape you as a person. And all my Bible girlies, all my men and women of God, lock in now. When the scriptures tell us to guard your heart, guard your ears, and guard your eyes, I'm really starting to see why they say that now. Because literally what you feed and what you give yourself and come into agreement to is bound to shape you. It's bound to shape you. Like, quite literally. If you listening to that Sabrina Carpenter song, I heard you want a nigga that's gone, you're gonna want to hump by 2 p.m. You know what I mean? Like, if you're constantly listening to like lustful or sexual stuff, you're gonna become a more lustful sexual person. If you're constantly watching mukbangs or whatever you call it, and you're constantly engaging in stuff like that, you're bound to itch towards bigger portions or wanting more food or just being overall more gluttonous. You know what I mean? And so I'm really starting to understand why the Bible says guard your heart, guard your eyes, and guard your ears, because literally whatever you feed and whatever you come into agreement to and whatever you let into your territory, into your space, will literally make or break you. It will literally define you if you let it. And that goes for people, places, and things. Like right now, I'm in this era basically where I just went through my entire Instagram, my entire social medias, and all that stuff. And I had to just delete people, places, and things that no longer resonate with me because it was getting weird. I would watch some influencers and they're very lustful, or they're very vanity and and very you want to be me energy, or very conceited energy and all that stuff. This is no shots to anybody, but that's what it was given in my heart. And instead of me subscribing to that stuff and being around that energy, I had to remove myself because I felt that coming off on me.
Don't be afraid to hit that block button.
I felt myself watching an influencer who was she's great, to be honest. She's amazing. But I felt the energy of, you want to be me, or the girls wish they were me. And I get that with a lot of people. So I'm not just going to like dogpile that on them. But I get that with a lot of these influencers, especially beauty influencers and stuff, which, girl, you're beautiful. We love that. But when it comes to a point where it's like, you want to be me and you want to have my life and you wish you were me, that stuff is icky. I can't stand stuff like that because that's not good for anybody. That's just bad influence. It's really bad influence because now you have people watching you who probably subscribe or want to now relate with that icky mindset, and now you're just causing others to fall into that type of mindset. And that's why if you're an influencer of any kind, it's really important to watch how you broadcast yourself and how you show yourself to the world. Because I have to do the same thing. I'm on a podcast right now. I can't be saying certain things and I can't be doing certain stuff because it might lead people into the wrong things. And that's on me. Of course, they made that decision, but God's watching me because he knows that because you said this or because you influenced this, they're now doing that. Because you started this and you showed this, they're now doing that. You know what I mean? Influence is literally a spectrum. It's such a big spectrum, and I'm starting to notice how nobody is uninfluenced. You can't be not influenced. That's not a thing. Literally, you're influenced since you come out the birth, since you come out the womb, excuse my language, since you come out the womb from your parents, you watch your parents and you watch them do this and you watch them do that. You hear their speech and you see how they move and you see how they do that. That's how you started taking your first steps, because you noticed your parents were walking. So you're like, oh shit, I can walk too. And you took your first steps. That's exactly just how life is. We all piggyback off of each other. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that, like, we're not, there's individuality, but a lot of this stuff piggybacks off of each other. We all literally are like back to back almost. It's like an echo chamber. But don't think for a second that you can't be influenced. Don't think for a second that you can't be influenced at all, because that's just not real. And I'm just really starting to notice how, ooh, girl, we about to get deep. It's about to get real. It's about to get so real. But you don't want to become that person where you've grown out of certain stuff and you're ignoring the change, or you're ignoring the conviction that Holy Spirit is trying to give you, or you're ignoring the change, and then you go back and revert to things that you have been delivered or you've been itching away from. If you haven't been smoking for a while and you've been feeling good, just because Sally invites you to come smoke, you gotta cut that, baby. You don't gotta hate Sally, and you don't gotta be like, oh, I want to smoke. What? Like, you don't gotta be like that. But I can't do that right now, girl, because that's just not good for me. Because it'll send me back into a place that I don't want to be in anymore, and that I'm not supposed to be in. And like I was kind of saying earlier, I dived into that a little bit more. But like I was just saying, you don't want to be the person where God's delivering you from something and you go back, and now a few years later, or a few months, or even a few weeks, you're noticing that it's affecting your personality. You're noticing that it's making you somebody that you never wanted to be. The influence and the effect that it has on you, you now have to scoop up, and you now have to do the shadow work and get on your knees and pray, or do whatever you do. You now have to take that stuff out of your conscience and out of your soul to become the person that you want to do. Become the person that you want to be. And that's where I kind of feel like I am now. I've let certain things, and I've let certain people and certain influences affect me to the point where I now have to break down certain stuff because I'm not that person. You don't want to get to that point. No shade. A lot of people get to that point. That happens. This is a common thing, so I'm not going to like throw it on myself, actually. But you do not want to be that person to the point where you're engaging in certain stuff, and then 1 year you sit back, you notice that I've been participating in things that I'm not. I've been listening and subscribing to things that I'm not. And now you have to sit and do the work. You have to sit and do the work. Because you're just gonna, if you don't, you're just gonna let that stuff build into you, and then it now becomes a part of your personality. And now your personality isn't built on who you want to be, it's built on what you've just let run and roam free throughout your life and throughout your spirit. And that is not a good place to be. No shade. Don't do that for yourself. Don't have that for yourself. So I say this all to say, watch what's influencing you, because it will affect you. And yeah, just be careful, because all that glitters is not gold, and all this stuff that they be trying to show us out here isn't cool. Like, some of these mannerisms and some of these little, I don't know, these little trends and stuff, some of this stuff is just like really like damaging to the spirit in my eyes. And like I said, you just gotta watch that, because what you feed the most will lead the most, as my pastor said. My pastor dug into me. Ew. I reframe. My pastor ate me up because he said, Corey, People don't like to be around you because you notice other things that the normal person don't. AKA you clock things that other people don't be clocking, or they clock it but they don't acknowledge it and they just let it go, or they just let it roam and they just let it do what it's supposed to do. You notice that stuff and you be like, and that's why people don't want to be around you sometimes. And I'm like, okay. But I see what he's saying now. He's saying you see certain things that you know is like side eye, and you side eye it, period. Like, you don't let it go unchecked. And I was like, you're so real. And he's like, some people just can't handle that. And I was like, you're so real. Some people just can't handle things being checked. But you need to handle things being checked, because if things go unchecked, it's going to check you. Like I said, don't get to that point where you're engaging in so much gunk and sludge to the point where it encapsulates your personality. And then later down the line, in some years, you've been doing things that you don't even resonate with anymore, and now you're feeling so much regret because you're living in a style or you're living in a way that is not for you. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say, really. It's just some food for thought, y'all. I ain't attacking nobody. Don't come for me now. Don't feel crazy now, girl. I'm just talking. I'm just being real. This is a deep episode, but seriously. And I would like to share what I journaled today, and I hope you guys are receiving. I just said, I want to be a righteous man of God. I cannot keep letting things distract me from the Lord. If I keep allowing myself to be distracted by every little thing, how will I ever be his son? How will I ever be a father, a friend, a brother, a husband, if I don't prioritize my well-being and my Father in heaven? How could I ever expect to be the person he called me to be? Is it really that good? The food, the sex, the money, the drugs, the attention, the rest? If it pulls you straight away from God, who is bigger than all that is beyond compare, and he can give you more than that stuff ever could. I rebuke the spirit of distraction and disruptive filler in my heart. And I'm just sick of all this distraction. That's what I wrote. I'm sick of all this distraction, because that's all it is. That's all it is just distractions, y'all. So that's why we have to really make it our deal, and I'm making it my deal, to weave out that stuff that truly doesn't resonate with you anymore. Like I said, I had to go through my entire Instagram feed and delete you and delete that and delete that and delete that, because it was wearing off on me. It was in an old state of my consciousness. Like, it was in an old state of my being, and it was feeding parts of myself that I no longer resonate with, or that I no longer want to. And if I just would have allowed that to just stay there and run amok, it literally will hinder your mind, or it will just have this weight on you that it's just a heavy weight. It tries to hold you back. And now you're overthinking and all that other stuff. It just has to go. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with who you are currently. And if it doesn't work with who you are currently, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Like, you do what's best for you, honey. This was kind of my message for like the first one, but truly do what's best for you, because at the end of the day, that's what we got to do. And I also want to say, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, because it might get to a point where you start losing friends and you start losing people, and you might feel as though that's a hindrance to you, but know that it's not. Anything that you are throwing away, A, to get closer to God, or B, to get closer to yourself, you're never truly losing anything. If you are throwing that away to gain something within Christ, or to gain something within yourself in the right, appropriate manner, you're never truly losing anything. And there's nothing that God can't restore for you. So don't feel bad throwing it away. And if those friends don't like this new step that you're taking, because that happens a lot. You don't smoke anymore, and now Becky's in your face like, oh, but we used to do this and we used to do that and we used to do that. And you're like, Becky, I'm at home with my daughter. Like, I'm cooking dinner. Like, I'm focusing more on things that help me. So now Becky's mad at you, and now Becky doesn't relate to you anymore because you don't relate to what Becky used to relate to, when Becky might need to relate to what you own because you're getting better. You know what I mean? Never feel like you have to deny yourself from getting better. And if someone denies you for getting better, honey, you got to take your hands off certain stuff. You really got to take your hands off certain stuff, because everybody can't go where you're going. What don't you say? You
guy, he wanted to take Lot with him. Everybody can't go where you're going.
You really cannot have everybody with you at all times. Certain people are for certain seasons, and certain things are for certain reasons. But you cannot have everything. You can't have everything. Some stuff is going to have to get put down. Some stuff is going to have to get put down. And I'm saying this to myself as well. Please, 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 Corey, stop letting these distractions turn you away from where you're trying to go and what you're trying to be. It will never, ever, 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 ever help. It's literally just trying to turn you away. So like I was saying, never feel bad for putting down something. And if you lose somebody for that, and if they can't seem to understand that you're on a different path and that you're on a different scope, then honey, you got to find somebody who's on the same level as you now. You know what I mean? Because if they're on a lower level, either you're going to have to stoop with them or they're going to have to come up. And if they don't want to come up, the next decision is upon you. In Jesus' name. So I just say all that to say, watch your influences. Watch what you're listening to. Like I said last week, watch what you're eating. Watch who you're around. Watch what you put in your mind. This is your home. This is my home, yeah. You're in here 24/7, babe. This is home. Right here. So just watch out, girly pops. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you next week.